The sports media has gotten its marching orders as we move into March Madness. And their goal is to again minimize and downplay Caitlin Clark's impact on women's basketball, even the college game, now that she is not there. And we're going to get into that. Welcome to the channel. Thank you for your support. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Shout out to the 19. It's odd. It's odd. Now, let's look at what Jackie Powell says. With the first round starting today, I dove into some of the numbers that prove that women's college basketball and the pro game too have thrived without Caitlin Clark. Is women's basketball fighting the catch-22 that previously held it back? I explore that here today too, and she is not the only one, but we are going to get into both of those. We also had um, this lady on. I Y'all let me know how you say this. I sure there's something to this, and by me saying it's absurd, I'm sure I'm offending somebody, but it's together.com, except the E at the end isn't together, together. Anyway, women's college basketball is thriving even without Caitlin Clark. And again, gonna give you some nonsense from the media. Now, it's nice that she says there's no doubt Caitlin Clark helped raise the tide, but the surge isn't just about one player. It never is. It's about the depth of talent and fierce competition driving this whole game forward. Many people doubted that women's college basketball ratings would stay strong once Caitlin Clark was no longer in the mix. However, those people were wrong. Um, who says that? The other article, which I'll show you too, some stuff from, kind of takes that same angle that I guess it's Caitlin Clark fans they're referring to that say, no, it's not going to be any good without Caitlin. Women's sports fans are all too familiar with doubt that anyone cares, that people will show up, that the competition will be exciting, that the athletes will deliver, doubt that anyone watches. Yeah, that's not true. Women's basketball for sure has struggled, the pro game, but women's sports have absolutely thrived. And I think it's just a particular of what is necessary in basketball to make it exciting that has been a struggle versus other things. I know, for example, in the Olympics, I think it's women's sports and competitions have always done well. I think women's figure skating has always done better than men's, women's gymnastics always done better than men's. You get that sort of thing. So, and that time and again, proving the doubters wrong. So they want to pump up sports, but they don't want to give Caitlin Clark the credit. And here we go. The record-breaking viewership compared to last season's historic run for 24-25 season grew by 3%. 3% it grew from last year. Fans tuned in at record rates. But see, again, it doesn't tell you that ESPN didn't have Big Ten rights because we're talking about ESPN. So that 3% increase is not a 3% increase built on Caitlin Clark numbers. And it's great that it grew 3%. But of course, by talking about Caitlin Clark, the insinuation here by Jackie is that this grew over Caitlin Clark's numbers, which it did not. And then it just continues to talk about certain games, but it will not mention, well, it does say for context, the most watched game was last year when Caitlin Clark made history, but it doesn't give you a number at all. So it's disingenuous. Caitlin Clark effect, no denying it. That's great. However, to suggest that the popularity of women's basketball is solely due to Clark would be short-sighted and wildly inaccurate. I don't think anyone ever says it's solely, but what's really wild is even the rise you're seeing in college basketball now on the women's side is from, and again, not solely, but a lot to do with Caitlin Clark. A lot of Caitlin Clark's fans that were not watching women's college basketball now are continuing to watch women's college basketball because they found other players that they find exciting. They're watching Juju Watkins. They're watching Hannah Hidalgo. They're watching Olivia Miles. They're watching um, Tanaya Latson. They're watching Lauren Betts. They're watching Paige Beckers. And don't ever tell me Paige was more popular than Caitlin. That's absurd. But right now, on the same day, I'm sorry, and that wasn't Jackie's, that was Caroline's. Caroline did that. But then here's Jackie's article on MSNBC. This season, women's college basketball ratings proved all the haters wrong. And again, what haters are we talking about? What haters? That's what I would like to know. So I want to go through again to just a few things really quick. Now it talks about television executives doubting whether they can reach the 19 million last year between Clark's Iowa Hawkeyes and Camila Cardoso's South Carolina Gamecocks. And look, to be again, there's something in that that is not about Caitlin Clark, right? It's sports in general. Now they may top it, they may not, but a lot of last year was there was a story. And when you get stories involved, when you get important storylines in sports, those are the games, those are the big games that are going to attract an outsized number of fans, more viewership because of the story part of it as well. Now, I think I missed it up here. It says it a second time here, but I think it's up here as well somewhere. Oh, yeah, 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 right. With the 2025 women's tournament officially starting Friday, we have what we have learned about the world of women's college basketball. What have we learned about the women's college basketball since Iowa's Caitlin Clark and her LSU rival Angel Reese? Again, there was no rivalry there. They played in a couple of tournament games, and LSU won one, and Iowa won the next year, and that got all fired up because of what Angel Reese did at the end of that game. See, and it said it again here. The sport has done on major television networks following the departures of Clark, Reese, and many of the other college players. So again, they want to downplay Caitlin Clark. And then I think there's one other thing that I think was really important that I want to talk about. Yeah, for again, here's an example. See, again, the Clark versus Reese rivalry was only the beginning. The Big Ten championship game drew 1.44 million viewers, and UConn versus USC averaged 2.2 million viewers on a Fox Saturday night prime time matchup. While there was a dip when it came to how Clark's games did on these same networks the year before, these non-Clark games still got viewerships in the millions. Well, one of them did barely, but here again, here's the issue, and this is why I do this stuff and why I talk to you all about it and why I think it's so important. Big Ten championship game drew 1.44 million viewers, a dip when it came to Clark's games. The Big Ten championship with last year with Caitlin Clark drew 3.02 million viewers. So the Big Ten championship game this year did not even do half of what it did last year with Caitlin Clark. So yes, it was a ratings drop of over 50%, but not going to tell you that, not going to give it a number, just going to say, yeah, there was a dip, but it was still awesome. And by the way, I'm not mocking 1.44 million. That's awesome. But obviously, by the way Jackie is wording it, she wants you to have a certain and specific takeaway from this that does not hit reality. And I think that's basically it of what I wanted to say in here, because, yeah. But anyway, and then, of course, there are a few people that wanted to let Jackie know exactly that. I was one. You didn't do any research. There's no way this should have been published. Okay, I may have been a little hard, but you know what? I have almost as many likes as she does. She's getting ratioed more. But anyway, Jackie, with all due respect, I think it's worth noting that most of the additional fans for both women's college basketball and the WNBA are CC fans who are now watching everyone else. It's not without Caitlin Clark, it's because of Caitlin Clark, which again, great point, which is one of the things they don't address. And I just said that is a lot of Caitlin Clark fans are now watching college basketball that didn't before Caitlin Clark. Never watched a women's college basketball game besides Iowa the last 3 years. Now that CC is gone, I watch Iowa, and most televised women's games, and it goes like, yes, just look at unrivaled ratings. Actually, don't. It hurts. Yeah, exactly. You're beyond mental health. Um, it's not without Clark. It is because of Clark. Now, I wanted to go one more thing, one more thing, because I thought this was cool. Because I talk about women's, other women's sports and being a supporter of them and so forth. And I've mentioned before, one of the things I watch that I love every year is the Women's College World Series. Love it. Absolutely. It's exciting to watch. I think it's one of the most exciting sporting events to watch is Women's College World Series. So I want to take a little bit of a look at ratings. Look, excuse me, look at the numbers here. So last year, the ones in yellow were last year, the game one and game two of the 2024 final, 1.91 million, 2.04 million. But also, right, so that's college women's softball, okay? Um, Crushing the WNBA. But here's the other thing I want you to see. That I think it's important because they keep talking about, people disparaging women's sports and that they can't watch it and this all the stuff when all these articles are about really women's basketball. Look at the first one, 2.33 million, the most watched all time. That was all the way back in 2007. By the way, also 2007, down here at 1.92 million. And then I believe we also have in here somewhere, yeah, the third highest, 2.24 million, was the 2005 final. So you're going way back to when the WNBA absolutely wasn't drawing any numbers like this. So please let's also stop encompassing women's sports because there are women's sports that do very well, even if maybe the WNBA has not. But let me know your thoughts on all this in the comments below. By the way, this is a good video since it just started. Give me your picks for the women's tournament. 'Cause like I think I said in the previous video, I will be covering some of it like game cap reviews of some of the big games, things like that. So let me give me your picks and then also give me your guesses for some of the ratings with the Final Four. Go ahead and look at last couple of years with Caitlin Clark. And what do you think? I know a lot of times it does depend on matchups, like I said, because you get stories and all that. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. I want to get to 12,000, and that should not be a problem, people. 12,000 before the first WNBA before the regular season starts. Should be easily able to do that. All right. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I will talk to you later.